Welcome back to our part 2. Oh my goodness, the first half we were so excited. We knew we would talk a lot with Shannon on our first half, so we had to record a part 2. So thank you for joining us today. This is According to
Jayma
and Nikki, and we're here with our VIP, very informed person and guest, Shannon Vitale, who is with St. Anthony's Medical Center, and she's talking to us about the Creighton Model. Creighton Model.
Creighton
Model.
You can pronounce it however you like, but
we're talking about the Creighton Model. And Shannon, we are so excited about this. We have a wonderful sponsor, Honeybee Vintage, and they have gifted our guest.
Nice.
And so we have a gift for you that we would like you to open from Honeybee Vintage. We're going to bring up Honeybee's website. If you've ever been to Honeybee, you will find amazing gifts.
Yes, it is the most inviting, adorable. You will find so many.
Oh, lovely. I have seen these. That is a beautiful thing.
And let's see if we can switch the camera back. Here we go. We've got Shannon. She's got this lovely glass.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah.
Made.
They're so easy to wash.
Especially for, look, Alton, Illinois. I'll bring it close to the camera so you can see. Thank you, Melissa at Honeybee Vintage, and all of you at Honeybee Vintage. You have some amazing curating pieces. I love that it says Alton.
Yes, I love it.
And we've got
We like glass.
Yeah. So if you're
beautiful.
Is there something else?
No, I think it's just the
okay.
the bag.
The
yeah.
paper. Okay. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
Jayma hadn't peeked before.
I didn't get to see it.
She
so
didn't.
I was surprised, but I just wanted to show their site again because you can order from anywhere.
Oh, I
for
love
shipping. And they do support so many small local artisans and small local businesses that have their wares sold within Honeybee. It is operated essentially by those vendors as well, because if you sell products there, you also work there.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, which is really, really cool. So everybody gets to know all the different vendor products, and we've shopped in there a couple of times.
And
really, you can buy me anything in there, and
the
I would be happy.
volume of different items, coffee, delicious sodas that are I think there's like a healthy, I don't know, it seemed healthy because it tasted healthy. Totally sweet and yummy. I think it was bee soda, like made from honey. Yeah.
Honey. Mm-hmm.
There's honey there.
Downtown,
There's
Broadway.
resale beautiful clothing. I think Radcliffe Thrifts is there. Algamite. I think that's how she pronounces it. Amalgamite. See, I am the unique pronouncer. Children's items.
And just a fantastic place for local gifts.
Yeah.
We appreciate them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For our guests.
Thank you very much.
All right, are we going to get back into fertility and
I think so.
women's health?
All right.
Bring us back, Shannon.
Bring you back. Okay, so if you wanted to get a hold of me, you could go to the OSF
website.
Yeah,
Okay.
just OSF.
Yep, osfhealthcare.org.
Right.
And then Shannon was telling me if you scroll down to fertility care, that there are a number of options here if you'd like to learn more about the Creighton Model, the NAPRO technology that she had mentioned in our last episode, which we could talk more about if you'd like to, and the types of services that they offer. But she said that if you come down here, you can learn about the different locations. But if you call her directly, right. You will get an appointment at the Alton location.
If you wanted to call and leave me a message at my office, I can give you my number.
These are the main DOs and MDs that
throughout OSF in Illinois.
Okay.
Correct.
And then I didn't even know that OSF
was bigger.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
It's grown.
It is.
These locations.
And so
it's beautiful.
Shannon, what is your phone number?
It is 618-474-7920 is my office number. I'm there on Wednesdays and Thursdays. You can call and leave me a message, and I will return the call to you and find out what you need. As I mentioned, we do what we call natural family planning, right? And that's learning how to chart your cycle to learn when you're fertile and when you're not fertile. And that there's no cost for. But we often discover that there is an issue with the cycle. And if you do have an issue, then I would refer you to a NAPRO technologist. So NAPRO means Natural Procreative Technology, and it's an additional course or study that doctors take to learn how to treat women and bring them up to health. And they do that. It's kind of amazing. Pretty intense program for the doctors and stuff to do it, but it's an additional fellowship that they would take to learn this, and they do amazing service. I mean, whether some of the doctors that we have are surgeons, so they will work with women who have polycystic ovaries or endometriosis, and sometimes it's just a hormonal lead, and a regular family practitioner can work with that, or even we may even have some nurse practitioners who are stepping up into those roles as well.
Yes, I know their scope of practice has been expanding for a lot of NPs. So let me ask you this too: if someone were to do their tracking through this program, could they take that to, if they already have an existing OBGYN or primary care physician, or are those specialized in
I'm not sure.
assessing this data?
Right. The NAPRO doctors use this chart to help them diagnose your problem. Actually, your chart gives them a lot more information than just estrogen and progesterone. It gives them a wealth of information. So, and I've had women who go to the NAPRO technologist and are like, okay, but I need you to chart. You go chart and then come back, which is lovely. So they'll come and I'll teach them how to chart, and then they go back and they can be treated. And they do a wonderful job. OSF is wonderful. We are right next to St. Louis, and there's doctors in St. Louis as well. So it just depends upon what you want to do. A lot of them are even treated virtually, but they all require their first appointment to be in person.
Okay.
Right?
Right. So you can build that rapport
and they can understand. So
trust and understanding, I feel like, is so critical
in
really
healthcare. If you do need to go to St. Louis, you have that one day where you might be building that with them, and then they can see you virtually after that established appointment. So you're not driving back and forth.
I don't know, but do they do it virtually in St. Louis?
I imagine so. I felt like, mine got interrupted with COVID, so I don't know if they continue to, but I had established out in Mercy hospitals where I went. I think it was, Mercy out in Creve Coeur is where I went. And then, but I still did all my blood work over here.
Right.
I was able to do that. So there was just one or two visits that I required the St. Louis drive.
It does, and if you have a serious fertility issue, struggling to become pregnant and things like that, this is where you would start, right? And then you need to see somebody. The whole goal is to allow you to be healthy, if you do have a fertility issue, to try to look at the underlying cause and bring you up to health so that you can achieve pregnancy naturally. It's better for your overall health. It also incorporates God in the mix, right? Which I feel very deeply about, that he should be there with us. And so does our program. We're not circumventing him, right? We're inviting him into our relationship, right? And beautiful. Because he has a time for everything. And we have to listen to where he's leading us and what he's calling us to do, which is what I feel like he called me to do, right? This was... I was kind of surprised that I did it, actually, because I'm no spring chicken, just saying. But when I was trying to decide what to do, when this program was presented at our hospital, and I went and watched and I had questions about it, kind of intrigued me. And this was back in 2018. Okay. Well, that's kind of interesting. But I'm old. I don't need to learn anything else. And I was,
never
so I know you are never too, but it's a lot harder. But anyway, so it was interesting. And as I was prayerfully considering what to do, it was something else that I was thinking about doing it at the same time. And happened to go to church. And I'm like, I don't know, God, I thought I wanted to do this one thing, and it got a weird reception for it. And I'm like, that was just kind of odd. And I had been getting a couple phone calls from the presenter of the program. She had emailed me, hey, are you applying for this? And I'm thinking, don't you want one of the younger girls, right? The young girls. But then I looked down at our bulletin, and it was Natural Family Planning Week in the Catholic Church. And I'm like, oh,
There's your sign.
There's your sign. Sometimes it's that obvious. And it has been an amazing journey because not only to respect and really understand and appreciate how beautiful our body is and how each life is so unique and so special and so precious. But from doing this, it is how I got involved with the pro-life arena, totally. One of the things I do, I'm going to put a plug in for Vitality's Women's Health Clinic, which is not named after me. I just want you guys to know that. I did vote on the name, but it's not named after me, which is our local pregnancy resource center.
Right.
And that's something that I think women who in crisis pregnancy need to have a place within our own community. And it is about our community. What I do is about our community. Our hospital supports us doing this. Here in Alton, we are small, right? But we're like a family. There's something nice and unique about Alton and the Godfrey area. I can't go to the grocery store in which I don't run into somebody that I know, right? And it's usually somebody who I've delivered their baby. Not that I delivered it, but I was the nurse there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Shannon. I'm like,
look at my child. They're really old
they
now.
That makes me feel
oh, yes, it does. But we are a community, and I love.
Or look at my child's child.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It's the deepened connections, and I think that's what makes the Riverbend community so unique. Special. Is we are a community.
We really are, and we support one another. And I think your program here just highlighting the different things that's available in our community. That's a beautiful thing to do. It's beautiful. Thank you for having me on
Thank you for being
show.
Here.
Yeah, so that we can highlight what I do. But there's so many beautiful things that you guys, and I know that like your passion is the warming centers, right? I would grab her in the pro-life community. I know she's doing a good service. Yeah.
Well, and even still, the RiverBender audience is familiar with Jackie Duty. She is she comes on the show with CJ and talks about their center.
Yeah.
So they're familiar with her voice.
Right. But I look at this program, something as simple as learning natural family planning and how that has transformed my life, right? To become more of an advocate for women and children, right? A better advocate for our community. And sometimes we make those small little decisions in our life that we don't think it's a big deal, but it changes our entire life. It does. And it really does. So if anybody out there wants to know more about it, definitely give me a call.
Absolutely one of my last question for you that we were getting to was, how can we be better advocates for ourselves and for other women? And that's a great point. Yeah. Get involved.
Get involved.
That's something you're passionate about.
And don't be afraid to do it.
Right.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Yeah.
As you can tell on the show, a few mistakes do get made. Words get mispronounced.
Yeah.
But there's grace for that.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm still here.
Yeah. Not everybody agrees with us, and that's okay. Find out what you believe in.
Yeah.
Right? And do good. Right? And share the information.
Yes.
Women particularly need to support one another.
It makes me think so long ago, maybe it's because of how women's health has been approached through thousands and thousands of years. But I was watching a historical document, and they were talking about lilac bushes in front of a house and how some homes would have a lot and some wouldn't. The lilac bushes used to represent miscarriages because women wouldn't talk about them.
Right.
They wouldn't share their experience, but they would plant a lilac bush or a rose bush, and that would signal that the child had been lost.
Oh, wow.
And so the grief that you can carry when you're walking through your fertility, I'm getting teared up just thinking about it,
No,
but also
true.
just the grief that you carry when your body doesn't seem to be acting well and you're struggling to get pregnant, or, you have all of these emotions and these feelings around your womanly body, and how do you begin to love your body?
And you're not getting the ansers.
Right. And you're getting looked at like you have three heads.
Mentioned you don't know what questions to
right.
ask.
What questions do I ask? What is normal?
Yeah.
Right.
I think you're exactly right. And then, not that I'm criticizing any doctors, or this is just our
We're all
history.
learning.
Well,
like you said.
and
Yes.
healthcare changes over so many times.
It does.
Like, we do not continue to have the same doctor we've seen. I've had tons of doctors leave, and I mean, how do you build that relationship for them to know you're normal? So it's your responsibility to tell your doctor what your normal is, because this is the fifth doctor you've seen in the past, I don't know, 4 years because they've changed or they've left or the insurance has pulled out of the hospital and those doctors are no longer covered.
Well, and the
or
burnout,
the touring.
The burnout for our healthcare professionals is very real. Think of how many emotions they carry and what they see every day. And, all the good, but also
they see
all the sad, and that's a lot for us to put on all of you.
Yeah.
Oh, how interesting! Isn't it just Nurses Week?
Oh, it is.
And nurses and Teachers Week, I believe. There was Educators Week. Mother's Day is coming up.
Yep.
So
get them all.
Yeah.
All at 1 week.
We're in May. Depending on when you hear this show, because we do have reruns and we play our shows over. But you might hear this in June. It's fine. It still happened.
But we should celebrate. All of you all the time. I know that it is not an easy profession. You have to maintain licensures and continuing education, and it's a lot. It is a lot that you carry.
And I will, I've always worked at OSF St. Anthony's. There is something unique about that place. I love it. And I genuinely feel God's presence when I walk in the door. And I love that our sisters are still present there, right? It's kind of like a microcosm of Alton. We're very much a family. I feel like the people, the other nurses, the techs, environmental workers.
And it takes a team. It takes everybody
security,
to make it.
They're meant to be there. It's not by happen chance. I think that they're there for a purpose, and we recognize that. And so we work together,
Oh, and I believe I was even meant to meet you.
Yeah.
Because of how...
At that event.
Right. And how... so much I've learned.
Connected.
We've remained connected. And when we were doing this show and planning the show, you were one of the first on my mind. And I think you can look at our list and see, because I think for me, this was knowledge I was so grateful to have.
I think it's,
it took a lot of stress off of me because I got to see what was going on with my body.
And how many people have you shared that experience with your girlfriends?
All of them.
Right. Which is what you have to do, right?
It opens those conversations.
If you're having a problem, this is a resource that's available for you, right? Or this is what I did.
I think I've even ran into Matt and been like, Matt, I love your mom. Might have told him too much, but she's so great. She helped me in so many ways. He's probably like,
okay.
I love my mom too. She's awesome. Mom, you got to stop telling the ladies where I went.
I do get updates.
I don't think you even told me. I think I just put it together somehow, but he was probably like, sorry, Matt, but love your mom.
Love you, son. Ask my other sons as well.
Yes.
And my daughter.
All the kiddos.
All the kids. So in setting up for this episode, we did, talk to some of our friends and family about things that we have learned, whether, the hard way or through experience. And we wanted to list out some of those that we maybe wish we would have learned sooner. And Nikki and I will delve into some additional things after we close our discussion. But we're going to mention, a content warning that we will be discussing again, some scientific terminology, so just be prepared. But as always, consult your healthcare provider if you have additional questions or needs. Do not trust everything you read on the internet. So, but we have learned that labias exist in a variety of sizes and shapes.
Yeah. Every woman is like, when I first started OB and delivering, I thought this was a beautiful way. Women are like roses. We all have the same petals. Each one's unique. I'm
yes.
Like, true point.
Yes.
We all have the same parts. Just like every face is unique.
Yes.
Right? We all have the same.
And every penis. We've learned that too. Yes.
It's very true.
Yes. They're all unique.
And if you are making bathing suits, make sure you know that women are all shaped different and give us a little bit more fabric. Thank you.
Yes.
Because I've noticed in the bathing suits, it's not even like an inch wide.
Oh.
And I'm like,
come on.
There is some space that needs to cover here. Yes. Like, hello.
We would like some modesty.
Yes, thank you.
Modest.
I don't want to feel the draft.
Yeah.
Like, I would like coverage.
Yes,
I was very shocked. So bathing suit season's coming up. There needs to be like at least a good 4 inches. I don't know how many you need, but like
give us some coverage.
Give us some coverage
for those who want it. Yes.
For the different shaped and sizes.
Yes, absolutely. Also, areolas and nipples too. We learned that those all come in different shapes and sizes. different colors.
And colors, yes.
Also that when nursing, if you've had a pregnancy and a baby, they can shed. They shed some skin, and that milk releases out of multiple streams.
Yes, we have pores, more than one pore.
One of our friends described it as a shower.
Yeah,
yes,
shower head, a shower, like
yes.
whoosh.
Yeah, there's several pores that spray out at the same time. Not like a nipple bottle or bottle nipple, right? It has one hole.
Oh, yeah.
And that's probably why we think that is because the bottle
because
just has
nipples
one.
are well. Then no wonder kids sometimes have a hard time drinking. They're designed to get like a different flow. How does one hole flow the way that multiple holes flow in the bottle?
Actually, has to do with how big the hole is in the nipple bottle. So there's slow flows, but babies have to work much more to breastfeed. A lot of our musculature. Coordination with
probably
their tongue.
helps with talking.
Yes.
And developing of your lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue.
Right.
Your
and
articulation.
And lazy babies, and yes, there are lazy babies. They bite. They can bite a nipple and it will squirt. So if you
figure it
So
out.
if you had a baby that bit, it might have been a lazy baby.
Or a really smart one.
That's where I go with
smart.
It's a smart one. I don't have to work.
Exactly.
Work
Figured
smarter,
out,
not
what
harder.
is it? The path to the least resistance.
Yes. And we talked before we came on air even that women can produce milk at various times, even.
And a breastfeeding mom can release milk at various different times.
Yep.
So
involuntarily,
No
Be prepared.
control.
No control sometimes, and it can be a lot of fun, a lot of laughter in the bedroom. Just saying,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then I think the other
Embrace it.
Embrace it, yes.
The other thing of the concept that women have a lot of control over their body. Like you can control when
like
you start your
mentioned,
period.
wow.
And I think that's the achievement that we've tried to get in some aspects with birth control. Because you can skip your period if you take these. So then you could go on and not have your period or not have it at all. But the thing is there are things about our body happens naturally we can't control. We cannot control when we're breastfeeding if milk comes out or not.
Yeah,
right.
It comes out when it comes
women
out,
have
it leaks.
all different size mammary glands.
Yeah.
Some produce more milk than others, and some people are able to share theirs, which is an amazing thing. And others need to supplement. And it's all okay.
And
all okay.
trying to control your cycle in a 28-day cycle when your body was designed for a 32, 34 cycle. Is that healthy on your body? Is that really doing what you need it to do just because of the inconvenience of or the desire to control something that's not always fun?
Or controllable.
Or controllable. How about just understand it and work with it?
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
this idea that, we can just control everything because we're women.
Isn't it freeing to know that you don't have to control everything, though?
It was so great.
It's like, if I could just understand it.
And just let it happen.
And understand it. And yet still be prepared because we don't like being caught unawares and things like that.
This is true.
So, but to understand when things are supposed to happen and are they happening correctly, what a wonderful
release
knowledge.
To not have knowledge.
And the grace of if you're trying to be someone who is trying to control it, you're going against yourself. And that can be hard on your psyche because you're failing and you're wondering why you're failing. And it's not you failing. It's just let go and embrace that you have this cycle, this body.
And trust that
it's doing what it's doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you think it's wrong, come talk to somebody who can
figure it out.
Help you look at it.
Absolutely.
And feel comfortable about it.
Talk about it. That's one of the things I do love about my job is we're talking about bringing life into the world or menstrual cycles or when you're having intercourse, because they do chart that, right? Just so I can understand if you understand the information. But that intimacy that I share with my clients is such a gift, to talk with them, talk about their fertility and journey with them. And then when they're successful and achieve the pregnancy, it's like, thank you, God.
Yeah.
I work, a lot of my clients are struggling to become pregnant. So,
and that
it's just such a gift when God blesses them.
It was one question I had for you. Are you seeing a theme, a constant theme in women's fertility and men's fertility? Are you seeing they're asking the same question over and over again, or the challenges are still there? Is there a lack of knowledge somewhere because this information isn't out? Are you noticing a pattern?
I think, time and time again, my clients would tell me, wish I knew this earlier. How come nobody taught this to me? I'm like, yes, I know. I don't know why. Tell your friends. I will tell them.
Your friends,
you
send them here.
Well, we need, and if there's people who would like to do what I do, how do you do that? Where do you get the training? And so there are people within OSF who
would love to talk to them and hire them and get them the training that they need. I love that.
So all kinds of things.
I know Nikki had mentioned too that the length of your perineum can contribute to UTI occurrence.
Right. So how
I
about
learned this during our
right. Well, first of all, women should be taught how to wipe after going to the restroom. It should be front to back. Okay. There's microbes around the anus.
And when you are wiping a baby who is a female baby,
wipe front to back. Yes, that's what we usually teach them in the hospital. Wipe front to back, dash, front to back.
The dads.
Yes. Because, anatomy is a little bit different. But there are microbes that are healthy on the outside, right around the anus, that keep that area healthy. We certainly don't want to introduce those to the vaginal area where it can migrate up to the meatus of the urethra, which is the opening through which the urine passes. Right. And girls, that little passage that little tube is very short compared to males. You have to go the length
3
of the
holes
nails.
for anyone who does not understand.
there are 3.
3 for women, okay?
And interesting enough, you can look for your meatus, and you may not be able to see it right away because it's generally closed unless you're urinating. So if you're looking, you're like, where is it? You may not see it. Again, things that we observed in OB. Right? Like, where is it? It is there. But yeah, so the length of your perineum, if you think about that, the closeness to that. So truly just being taught how to wipe properly. Right. Always front to back. So that you don't
keep those germs where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, keep those microbes where they're supposed to be, and you should be good. Yeah, because the shorter it is, it's a shorter distance, and life can get messy.
And you might have maybe you want to wipe a little bit differently because maybe you're noticing a lot of UTIs, and you're wondering why you're getting them over and over again, and maybe that's a little short space, and
which brings up
what do I do
after intercourse too? A woman, about 20 or 30 minutes after intercourse. And there's a reason why we wait. We didn't even talk about this. I don't even know if this is appropriate, but we're going to talk about it. Right.
Everything is. Bring it.
So you need to get up and use the restroom for that same purpose. Having intercourse can introduce those same microbes into that area. And why do we wait 20 to 30 minutes? You want to go to the restroom to eliminate the seminal fluid. It becomes a discharge after intercourse, and which sometimes looks very much like cervical mucus. But it enters the body kind of globby, right? And it takes about 20 to 30 minutes for a woman's body temperature to loosen it up so she can eliminate it.
Really?
Yeah, so you do a series of Kegels, which is a pulling up of the pelvic floor and bear down and wipe until you get that gone. But it's also important to urinate with force, like a stream. So don't just roll over and go to sleep. I know that's what you want to do, but don't do it. And I will challenge the men.
Right.
You know what their job is. When the woman has to get up and do it, she has to stay awake for 20, 30 minutes. He should too. While she does that, and then welcome her back to your marriage bed, right?
Right.
This is, let me snuggle you again. That's how God designed us. So I challenge the men to help chart.
Be a part of it.
It is. It's your fertility. I mean, and really, what a beautiful thing to share that. And my experience has been that the men that do that, man, they feel so proud. They come to the meetings and they're like, no, I charted that, Shannon. You did a good job, And if they
get an extra sticker.
No, and if they messed up, they own it too. Like,
I missed that one.
I forgot about that. I was thinking this. I'm like, yeah.
Well,
but I love that they're talking about it. Right. It's because it's not just her.
Well, that was one thing that we put on our list was that
it feels
especially
like
with our younger generations, that intimacy, love, that connection that you build in a relationship makes intercourse that much better.
Yeah.
Because you're in it together.
You also have your parents, you're probably going to have children possibly. Now father can teach son, and like this information can get shared generationally too. Right. So that boys and girls grow up with this knowledge of how family planning and preciousness.
What's the purpose of having a cycle? Why does a girl have that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it's a gift, actually. If you have good fertility, it truly is a gift.
Having it, yes.
Yeah, you're healthy, and that's a good sign, right?
Yeah.
Super exciting. Let's see. Hair grows everywhere. That's what we learned. Hair grows everywhere, including nipples, Uranus, your chin. I'm experiencing that a lot more lately than I would like. We talked a little bit about like how long sperm can live, how ovulation days vary, and how long they can last. And sometimes it's a very small window that allows for all of that miracle to happen.
It is,
time,
right.
You know? And I know Nikki kind of asked you, but is there any question that you get asked that still surprises you?
Oh, well, nothing surprises me. I mean,
Good.
I'm like, no, just
That's
ask
a
away.
True healthcare provider.
I know.
Right
Just
there.
tell me what your question is. And sometimes people are a little embarrassed to ask their questions. Well, I just recently got one who asked, charting her menstrual flow. So when we chart the mucus, we chart the most fertile sign of the day. Okay, so you might be dry all day and then have some mucus. So you may have gone to the bathroom 4 times and didn't see anything, but once you saw mucus. So which one are you going to chart? Well, the one that you saw mucus, not the one that you saw the most. She goes, what about the menstrual cycle? Do I chart like the heaviest? Because I was heavy in the beginning of the morning, and I have nothing afterwards. That's what you chart, the heavier flow. So I thought it was a good question. I'm like, good question. Because
It's a good question.
I know, because she's like, it really puzzled her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she started out heavy, and then it was just medium. She's like, do I put heavy or do I put medium? Because it's been medium longer than it was heavy. No, chart the heaviest one. That's okay. Do the most things. So, but any of questions that, not really. And the other thing, I'm as I do my introductory sessions, the internet. People usually are researching, especially women who have struggled to have become pregnant, have done a lot of research.
Read everything. Right.
Yeah, so they know a lot, and it's very hard to stump them. It really is, or to introduce something new. It's just a new way of doing it.
Right.
But it's.
But they're there because they
need.
Want to
They want to learn. They're like, okay, I'm being told I have unexplained fertility. What do you mean you have unexplained fertility? Why don't they know what your problem is? How come they won't tell you?
What's unexplained about it?
Yeah, exactly. What do you mean? You know, and I'm like, well, let's wait until we find out if it really what's going on. There's got to be an explanation as to why you're not achieving pregnancy. So let's do the work and, find out what it is. Sometimes it's endometriosis, polycystic ovaries. Sometimes it's a hormone problem. Sometimes it's a thyroid problem. Sometimes it's a pituitary problem. Who knows what it is? I mean, it can be all different types of things, but don't just give a woman unexplained and send her on her way, or say, let's go do IVF. Doesn't make her healthy.
Well, and then also, how do you know IVF would work too if you're not sure what's going on in other areas?
That's a whole nother
right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a whole nother episode.
Because
that's a whole other episode. Yeah.
Because you had mentioned the healthy egg creates the healthy baby kind of sense.
Right.
So if you're not figuring out what's going on with the hormones of the whole fertility, you enter a child in the womb, and now the child is in somewhat of an unstable environment.
Right.
Because you don't know what the baseline was.
Right.
And so
have you corrected that?
Healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe there's some underlying
and
problem.
there could end up being complications
Yeah.
that you're not aware of.
For the mother and or the child.
or some bacteria, not an STD, but there's bacteria that we're finding that,
like you said, good and bad.
Good and bad, and sometimes these are an
levels.
overgrowth, so maybe we need to treat that first. Maybe that's been the problem all along. I mean, who knows? Sure. The book that they have is this big black book like this. I want it. It's expensive, but I want it just so I can read about it. But there's so many things that can go wrong that makes you recognize that when it goes right, what a miracle that is.
Yeah.
And we take it for granted. We do. We take it for granted. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, Shannon, thank you so much for being
You're
here with
very
us
welcome.
and educating us and speaking so openly and making this easy. Easy for women and men to talk.
And for those of you who are listening, who are thinking about reaching out to Shannon, don't get discouraged or be encouraged by the tracking. Take it from me, it is not as overwhelming as it seems. Full disclosure, I'm not good with keeping track of things. I lose a lot of things. I'm not sure where I put most of my stuff. I come in like a tornado, and I was able to walk through this because Shannon is so helpful, and she guides you through it, and she makes it just like the show, comfortable and open.
She's supportive.
Yeah.
She's there for you.
Yeah.
We'll
So,
work with you.
Again, your phone number,
618 474
474
7920.
7920, and you'll get a hold of Shannon,
Make your appointment. Tell your friends.
and we will
Educate.
see
Come meet
you
me.
all back. Yes.
See you next time.
Bye.
Firearms training shouldn't feel intimidating. At Precision Point Armory in Bethalto, we focus on safety, confidence, and real-world skills. Whether you're new or renewing your concealed carry, you'll get professional instruction without pressure. Learn safe handling, sound decision-making, and proper techniques tailored to your experience level. If you're looking for premium firearms training in the heart of Bethalto, Illinois, call 618-779-9947 or go to precisionpointarmory.net and train with confidence today.
Struggling with depression that just won't go away? At Precision TMS, we offer a non-invasive, drug-free treatment designed to target the areas of the brain linked to mood regulation. Using FDA-cleared transcranial magnetic stimulation, gentle magnetic pulses help reactivate underperforming brain circuits without surgery or sedation. Many patients experience real relief, even after other treatments haven't worked. Our experienced team provides personalized care every step of the way. Contact Precision TMS today to see if TMS therapy is right for you.
Accidents happen in a heartbeat, but lives change forever. Whether it's a car crash, workplace injury, medical malpractice, or wrongful death, you don't have to face the consequences alone. Keith Short and Associates brings over 33 years of experience and a reputation for fighting fiercely for your rights. For relentless representation that you can trust, call Keith Short and Associates at 618-254-0055 today for a free consultation.
What's up? It's Mike Keith. What's up, bro? Good, back to spotlight other amazing alumni and how they discovered their path at Lewis and Clark. Let's jump into it. This is Tom Wells, an assistant chief of the Godfrey Fire District. He has been a firefighter and an EMT for over 20 years. Tom is currently an instructor in the Lewis and Clark Paramedicine program and has 2 degrees from LC, fire science and nursing.
I'm Tom Wills, and I'm a trailblazer.
Welcome back. Am I unmuted again?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is our first time combining a pre-recorded session with a live session. So congratulations to all of the graduates of 2026 that's happening right now.
Yes.
As we speak. And hopefully you can catch our episode after that.
Yeah.
But we wanted to, again, thank Shannon Vitale for coming in and speaking so candidly and openly and comfortably about all things period.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're breaking that stigma. We're speaking openly about periods. And unless you're living in a bunker of men, it affects us all. So welcome back. We are going to keep that conversation going. I have an important question for you, Nikki.
Okay, I'm ready.
Why is it called menstruation and not womenstruation?
I have no idea.
Well, it's
Is there a reason?
Yeah, well, menstruation, it actually has nothing to do with the English word men. It has all to do with the Latin word menses, which means month.
Month.
And the Greek word mene, which means moon. So, like, I don't know, they use both of those. Because Latin and Greek words.
Apparently, the women's cycle is just moon and month.
Exactly.
And like the moon, it's just, well, it's a calendar.
Right.
And
exactly. And that's why we call it a period, because it's a recurring cyclical event. It happens in fairly regular intervals if everything's healthy and running as it should be. A period is a period of time, right? Yeah. So it makes sense why we use that word as well for it.
It's also considered a full stop.
There you go. Yeah.
Like it's happening. We're stopping. Nothing's happening. We're just taking a break.
Exactly. So, we called it menstruation or menstrual period or menstrual cycle. And so I think that's where the period, we use that more commonly, I feel like these days. Do you want to know where that came from? Like why we call it all of those things?
Yes.
Okay. So
let's dive into it.
Etymology, right? Like we just said, it's rooted in the Greek periodos, which is cycle or going around. The Latin periodus refers to repeating or regular, recurring segment of time. And on average, the menstrual cycle should last, as Shannon mentioned, 28 days, right?
Or different.
But it can range from 21 up to 35 days. So that's why it's really difficult to keep a regular calendar, especially since every month is a different number of days.
Yeah.
So, and if it's a leap year, that's...
And if you have a cycle that you might be 28, 30, 28, 30,
change.
depending on how your cycle is.
Absolutely. But the period specifically refers to the days when the thickened uterine lining is shed, as we talked about, which also contains blood and mucus. And that marks the end and the beginning of the monthly cycle. So historically, medical writers use terms like menses and catamenia, I think is how you say it. I'm not sure.
Well, I'll probably mispronounce it.
And the public use various euphemisms, as we know, over the century. Period became the most commonly used term in the early 1800s to describe the recurring event. Many societies have used words such as the curse.
Oh man.
The visitor. Aunt Flo visiting, right? But period has remained the standard, right?
When I think of Flo from Progressive,
oh my gosh,
she reminds me
about your period.
Yes, because she's Flo,
right?
And she wears the reddest lipstick.
She does,
and she's a little over the top.
Red lip.
I do love a bold lip, and she's a little over the top, and she has a lot of energy, and she plays all those characters where sometimes in our cycle we feel like we're happy and then we're grouchy and then we're like uncomfortable and we want to cut our hair. And I just kind of am like, did they look at Flo and go, let's describe the ever flowing fluxation of women's hormones? But yeah, she kind of Aunt Flo. That's who she reminds me of.
You got it. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I love her. Do you know she's one of the highest paid models?
Oh, I believe it.
She's amazing. She makes more than Victoria's Secret models. So when in modeling, when I'm always side note, we're going to pin to the rabbit hole here. What's so cool is, those character models, those character commercial models are really successful. And when you get into modeling, everyone wants to be, high fashion runway, but really commercialism, commercials. Yeah. Advertising's where it's at.
I love it.
Which is why we need sponsors. So if you want to sponsor the show,
Progressive Insurance.
Available. Yeah. Aunt Flo. Flo.
And I don't know what her contractual obligations are, but I know that's not her real name, but they should definitely do some type of partnership. I know we talked about how the commercials nowadays are so much more straightforward. We're speaking so much more clearly about periods and period products. And if you haven't noticed behind us, Nikki has brought
my accessories, some accessories,
a number of items. I was actually doing a little bit of research about, I've always wanted to try like period underwear. There's so many companies now that have options. They used to be quite expensive, obviously reusable, washable, but Thinks, with an X, Salt with 2 A's, not sure where that came from. But even Hanes and Jockey have period underwear products that are more affordable and readily available for girl sizes and women's sizes. And Always even has disposable overnight underwear too. I saw you had something back here.
That is Always discreet, but it's the what is this?
I think it's the underwear. There you go.
So I just kind of
made an assortment
of some of the array of products, and as I was putting this little display together, man, I thought, what a blessing to be able to have access to all of this.
Okay.
Because there are some girls in the world right now that have absolutely no access. And it kind of humbled me in a way where I'm just like, wow, how hard is it to live our lives sometimes day to day dealing with it and going through it, and then to not have the resources to help you get through it, to navigate it. And some of these products have changed my life. And just going to work and sleeping at night and working labor jobs where you're lifting heavy things. And if you don't have the right supplies to do that, you can't do it. It's limiting. And so I think in many ways, very fortunate to have these items on display and have access to them, and not, now we don't pay taxes on them, which is helpful.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. You can use
they're covered under your HSA card.
Mm-hmm.
Which they haven't always been.
I was trying to find, I had some notes about, actually, if you go to, I think it's under UNICEF and a couple other really amazing websites that I found. I think it was flow.co. It was one of them that talk about period facts and that so many girls and women throughout the world do not have access to period products, which can significantly impact your quality of life, your health and hygiene.
I think I sent you a link, and I had read it, and I follow some places on Instagram, and I haven't I think it was the BBC that might have put this out, and I could be wrong. But there was women in a certain country that are getting hysterectomies as early as 20.
Oh my. Because
their cycle is getting in the way from being able to work. And it's the only way that they can get work.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because for them to be able to remain employed.
Because otherwise they have to not work during their cycle because they don't have access and culture standards and
wow.
And so they're just opting out of
periods so that they can remain working
and a livelihood. And I'm trying to find, I'll post where I saw that. It literally, to think
we'll
that
share
that's
some links and resources in our show notes.
That's
wild.
Trying to think, where did I see that?
It was flow.health is where I was at. I learned actually some, I mean, besides everything that Shannon enlightened us to, there was some really interesting facts having to do with like high cortisol, that if you are under chronic stress, that can significantly affect your periods because it can disrupt your hormones of estrogen and progesterone that we talked about, causing irregular or missed or even stopped periods. I know we talked about extreme athletes and how that's something they often experience, can cause heavier, lighter, or more painful bleeding because of the cortisol levels. It basically acts as a danger signal that can override your reproductive signals, like basically telling your body, we're not healthy right now. This is not the time to have a pregnancy. So we're going to stop the menstrual cycle. It's pretty wild. And did you know, beyond humans, there's only a few species that actually have a menstrual cycle?
Dogs.
Well, actually, no. They do go into heat.
Yeah.
But it's different, apparently, from what
I
researched.
Because I know they have pads for them.
Right.
Like doggy diapers.
From what I found, it's primates, which makes sense, right? Bats, which are mammals, and the elephant shrew. All experience. I thought it said elephants at first. I was like, oh, wait, no, elephant shrew. Okay.
They're little nose.
Little guys.
They have them at the zoo, I believe.
Yes. So I found that interesting. But yes, dogs do have a different type of cycle, but I guess it's not
the
considered
same
the same as ours. Yes.
That's interesting.
Also, the average female will menstruate for about 3,500 days over the course of their lifetime, which equates to 7 cumulative years. So when you're talking about these women who are basically opting out, that kind of makes sense because it's 7 years that you are vital and strong and have energy and are able to work.
But
and then
what's really challenging is those, I can't imagine their health.
Right.
Because they're going to be tired because they're not.
You're basically going into menopause. You're going into menopause.
Yeah. So. Or are they leaving? Because I think you can leave ovaries.
Yes.
And you just take out the rest. And the ovaries still regulate your hormones, so you're still healthy. And that country, it's Western India. I'm probably going to mispronounce this. The state of Maharashtra. Maharashtra.
Okay.
It's spelled Maharashtra. I should have probably had Google pronounce it for me before I tried.
Very interesting, though.
They are in sugarcane workers.
Okay.
They rely on their daily wages. And when they take time off for their cycle and pain and illness, it leads to severe wage deductions. So they work 12 to 16-hour shifts in the heat without proper restroom or sanitation facilities.
Right.
So they're out in the fields.
Water access is a big issue as well.
And they're persuaded by the local labor contractors and family members to push the quick fix to ensure they can work continuously without interruption. And that's going on right now. And it's shocking. I know when I had a doctor I talked in the first half of the episode, say, hey, do you want to just go ahead? And to me, that was a very hard thought to take away what feels like my womanhood, what feels like
right.
the thing that regulates me, the connection I am to who I am, that all of that, just because it's inconvenient or it's hard. And for me, it's it was a problem. Like it was a minuscule problem. And why do you have it if you're not having children? And that's one thing that I learned from Shannon is, oh no, it's important whether we're having kids or not. Like it is all part of our system. And what that could do later in life when I go through menopause, how does that not set you up? It's kind of how I feel about like fillers. Your face changes. So if you're constructing your face to look like a certain way, as you age, the natural progression of aging, you're doing it now, but you don't know how that's going to set off your natural progression of aging. And we have now found that like fillers, it all sets in your face and then you have to get more.
It's not human.
It's a little challenging when you make those permanent decisions. It's a permanent decision, just like anything. It carries a weight of thought.
I know we talked about this a little bit too, about the changing age. So in the 1800s, the average age for a first period was 17 years old.
Oh, wow. That seems later in life than what we're used to.
Now we're in the, obviously 200 years later, but it is 12 to 13 years old.
Wow.
Primarily due to improved nutrition. But there's so many research studies being done about hormones in our foods, in
our water.
Right. And then the menopause age typically occurs around 51 years old on average. And throughout your reproductive years, you'll experience roughly 450 to 500 periods, in that range that we talked about. So despite seeming like a lot of maybe shedding that happens, it's only about 3 tablespoons. And I think Shannon talked about that a little bit too. And I know you had been doing some, you had been doing some research about, and I was finding this too. There are studies being done on period excretion, on what it can be used for. In science,
what it's used for.
They're finding it might be potential help for Alzheimer's. That's intriguing.
It's a protein.
You were finding that they might be able to use the cells to grow
human
heart, organs.
A human heart. Like
amazing.
And possibly help with early diagnosis of diseases or genetic diseases. And then even possibly help with cancer fighting or cancer detection and just
it's wild.
Yeah.
And we just throw it away. Because your reproductive hormones affect everything, as we talked about, they can also affect your vocal cords.
Oh yes, this is true. As a singer and theater, when you get older, theater person, actress, when you get older, your vocal cords are not they get more vibrato, and you have a harder time holding certain notes. And
interesting.
And when women are pregnant, their voices change.
Absolutely. I've known, including Kelly Clarkson. I remember after she had, I think it was her first child, she couldn't sing. But then it adjusted back, luckily, for all of us.
It's got to be the elasticity.
It's wild. It's so wild. Our bodies are amazing.
Yeah.
This was something that we had discussed too. Menstrual synchronicity.
Oh.
So when women's periods align, it's actually a myth.
It's a mythical.
It's a mythical creature.
It's a mythical creature.
I've heard this my whole life, roommates, friends, you spend a lot of time together with your coworkers, things like that our periods align.
Yeah.
Gynecological science shows that periods do not actually physically align due to proximity or pheromones. It seems real because of the cycle, right? That there's this range, the 21 to 35 days, everybody's unique and different. So our memory tends to focus on the times when they align and not the times when they don't align. So it's really a mathematical coincidence and not a biological synchronization.
That kind of makes sense because if we could all really sync up, then
the whole
world would be at the same time.
It would be
but I can see like, cause you'll have, I have a sister. We could know she would start and then, like a week later and then
you'd be like,
I would be about to start. And
Yeah.
then, so there would be times where you could kind of gauge when yours was coming because,
Because of hers,
yeah.
exactly.
And I've done that with like even friends or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
we were talking about it last month. There is a wellness trend though that is called cycle syncing, and that is actually related to your cycle, adjusting your diet, your exercise, and your life cycle at different times throughout the month. Aligning with what Shannon was teaching us to support your body's hormonal fluctuations. So, like you said, knowing that you're maybe experiencing PMS symptoms, so you want to do more exercise so you can reduce your maybe cramping if that's something you have, but also looking at what are you eating? I'm craving this because, or maybe.
Well, I was talking about that with our good friend in St. Louis. I told her I would keep her anonymous, but you know her quite well. She does a lot of marathons. She does a lot of running, and I had asked her, how does that affect? Because I know physically what I'm capable of doing during certain times.
Right.
Like there are some times where I'm like, yes, I will lift that trash and throw it in the dumpster. And there are other times where I'm like, oh, I really don't want to pick that up right now. So she had said, yes, when she is on her cycle, she does not make the time that she makes when she's off her cycle. Right. And it can get frustrating. It can get daunting. But she's always been kind of good at listening to herself and not pushing herself because you want to do the opposite. You want to push yourself. You want to always make that time. And she kind of listens to her body and doesn't. And now what we're finding is we shouldn't. Like Shannon had said, don't overschedule yourself.
Right.
And how many times
know your limits.
Do you come with the expectation that you have to be the same every day? Like you don't get downtime, right? We have to still show up 100%. The same show up you had got before you're getting during ovulation, you're getting during the cycle. And that's challenging and a lot of pressure, especially when we know physically our bodies do not perform the same way that they do prior to.
Absolutely.
And so she recognized that and started kind of, when it was that time, she wouldn't push herself as hard and she would maybe just do a lighter run or just being so self-aware. And now we're finding we should all be doing that. And I still say if the world was conditioned to love women from the beginning, but we have this long history of thousands and thousands of years where women have just been treated as other. Go into your hut. You can't go into this building because you're on your cycle. You can't do these certain things because you're unclean. I mean, women have been gone through that. Had we actually seen the beauty, maybe the world would have been like, why don't you just take a break? Or I understand what you're doing. I understand the amazingness of what your body's going through right now. I get that you need a day off, which is why I think Australia, you get days off. There are a lot of companies that are allowing women 3 days off a month for their cycle. And some companies, because they don't want to be favoritism and they think it's just overall health and wellness for anyone, because we all have days where we just mental health, you just don't, hard week, push through it, taxing, you need a time. Some companies are offering those 3 days a month, no questions asked.
There should never
to their
be
employees
questions asked, but
just,
yes,
you get those 3 days. You know, just take them. So I don't know. What do you do with that?
That's pretty
How
cool.
does that show up?
I love that opportunity. I know we've talked about, you get leave for after you have a baby, usually. Now they're offering paternity leave for
and
foster
lovely,
parents, for fathers.
fostering.
Yes. I mean, there's so many
And
opportunities.
adoptions.
Yes, there's so many opportunities for companies to be understanding that their employees are so essential to their success, and they are still human, and they are going to have bad days. They're going to have deaths in their family. They're going to have reasons to celebrate life and reasons to just take a day off. And I love that.
Well, and then
that
I think
those are
about
out there.
businesses too who run a small staff. I mean, we've seen the businesses in Alton where they close their hours early and that can affect their business.
Sure.
So then you have to kind of have more staff.
Right.
To
help
fill
your
in.
gaps. Absolutely.
I mean, it does become a challenge. How do we offer people days off and still get people to show up to
and
the
still remain
open your business?
productive.
And I think that's where, you have on call. I think our teens can do more. It's so hard for teenagers that are 15 or older to get work.
Right.
You have to be
In the hours
almost,
that
most
they-
companies require you to be 17 or 18 and they won't hire you. Other companies require you to be 21. So the younger generation, I think, is having a harder time getting into those spaces. And those are good places.
Right.
They have rotating schedules. They only might have 2 or 3 hours here and there. They would make great new hires or fill-in hires or I think that would be, Jayma needs 3 days off. Come in, work the register 3 days, whatever it is, answer phones, take her messages.
Well, especially summer's coming up.
Yeah.
I know there's many kids who are finishing high school, like we just talked about, and looking for summer work. And
when you get in
internships.
college and you've got really weird lab hours and you sit in your car. There'd be so many times I would just sit in my car and wait till class started in between class and lab. And I would just sit in my car for like an hour or 2 hours studying, whatever. Well, now everything's online.
You could
hire someone to answer the phones or take your messages
from anywhere.
Send a couple emails in that 2 hour window. And then you've got the fill in gap. And it's just, society's changing. And so I think that helps with the change, like finding those opportunities for everybody.
To thrive.
Yeah.
Speaking of young people, the last thing we wanted to discuss today was the importance of using anatomical terminology with
11:11.
kids. It is.
How did we talk so fast?
Because we're used to an hour show and we already had it filled from the beginning. So we just wanted to touch on this briefly before we wrap up about how essential this is for children's safety, their medical health, their emotional well-being. You want to make sure that you're using accurate language, because I have heard many stories of, you're using a cutesy word, you're using, the word that you used as a kid to refer to your parts, your private parts, and when you should call them that because they are private and only people who should be looking and touching them are allowed to, right? But because there can be confusion, as kids are learning language, because they may misconstrue, the American Academy of Pediatrics and child safety experts advocate for this, being very clear about what inappropriate touching is, making sure children know the proper names. We want to use penis and vagina, not whatever. Anything else, making sure that this gives them credibility so that if something is happening that is inappropriate, they are able to communicate that clearly. We also want to make sure we're setting boundaries, right? So that they know what's the rules and what's safe touch and things like that. And then that promoting their physical health and hygiene, they can accurately tell you what hurts, like if something's wrong or there's an issue. They also make sure that we're keeping everything clean and that there's any issues. Right. And then also fostering that confidence and trust. So removing any shame, like we've talked about, related to what's happening with their bodies. Using slang terms can be very confusing, but we want to make sure that tabooness is gone. It's okay to talk about with people who are there to protect you. So again, having that open dialogue between parents and their children. So make sure we keep everybody safe and healthy.
And I have just appreciated having this opportunity to share Shannon's information. If you want to get a hold of her, her phone number is 618-474-7920. That's Shannon Vitale at OSF St. Anthony's. And if you guys have any questions or follow-up thoughts, ideas, know of an organization that we could do a drive for period products, let us know. Reach out to us.
Email, comment on RiverBender. You can
share,
find us on all the socials.
all the fun things, so we can get the word out that there are resources for everybody.
Absolutely. So. And periods are happening.
They're happening.
They're not going to stop. Embrace it.
Embrace it. It's